Hello, Denisha Mahomes here. Today I'll be discussing the effects of benzodiazepine and consciousness of the brain. The use of drugs can alter our states of consciousness. Xanax and the effects it has on the brain is a common cause of altering a person's state of consciousness. With the use of this drug, people should be aware that there are possible risks of becoming addicted to the Xanax drug. Xanax is not a drug that should be used long term. Even though the potential risk factors of this drug is known, people still abuse the use of the drug and thus continuously negatively altering their state of consciousness. The Xanax drug is scientifically known as alprazolam intenso. Xanax is categorized as a sedative group type of drug. Specifically, it can treat anxiety and panic disorder by promoting a more calm or sleep-inducing effect. Xanax can also affect the control over emotion responses, the way a person thinks or perceives things, their memory, consciousness, and even muscle coordination at times. To consume the drug, a person has to take it orally, since it's an oral disintegrating tablet, which can be taken with or without water and swallowed wholly. No crushing or chewing of this drug is recommended. According to Good Therapy, Dr. Leo Sternbach first discovered benzodiazepine in 1965. Benzodiazepine are a class of drugs that treat anxiety. Xanax specifically was released by Upjohn Laboratories in 1981. It was the first approved drug for panic attacks. Xanax is now the most prescribed drug in the benzodiazepine category in America today. This is a 2D image of the structure of alprazolam, which is also known as Xanax. Long-term use of Xanax can lead to damage to the brain and how it operates, which ultimately can have a negative effect on consciousness. According to the Recovery Village, taking Xanax disrupts the natural production of GABA in the nervous system. If a person doesn't have enough GABA before taking Xanax, the Xanax can cause their body to think it can reduce its own production of GABA. That means the next time a person needs to produce its own GABA, they'll start making even less GABA naturally than they did before because the brain thought that it didn't need as much GABA anymore. That can lead to nerves spiraling out of control without enough GABA to calm them and lead to other health problems and less brain activity. The use of psychoactive drugs, especially those that are used illegally, has a potential to create very negative side effects. This does not mean that all drugs are dangerous, but rather that all drugs can be dangerous, particularly if they are used regularly over long periods of time. Psychoactive drugs can create negative effects, not so much through their initial use, but through continued use, accompanied by increasing doses, which ultimately may lead to drug abuse. Psychoactive drugs, such as Xanax, affects consciousness by influencing how the neurotransmitters operate at the synapses of the central nervous system. Xanax functions is to try to subdue the symptoms of severe anxiety inside the brain. Xanax, along with other benzodiazepines, act as GABA brain receptors. Xanax receives the GABA neurotransmitter. GABA is the neurotransmitter that works on calming people's nerves. It increases stop notions. GABA is the neurotransmitter that produces relaxation and drowsiness. Therefore, when the nerves are firing in overdrive, feeling of anxiety, GABA calms the nerves down. Taking Xanax increase GABA brain activity. The graph shows the Xanax-related emergency room visits due to the non-medical use of the substance in the United States from 1995 all the way towards 2011. As visible, in 1995, the emergency room visits were down to 17,000 people by 2011. It had reached up to almost 125,000 people visiting emergency rooms due to Xanax. From the rise throughout the years, we can only assume that the numbers have still been increasing and have reached an even greater point. And this concludes my presentation for our final project.